Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you a review and demo of the new NATASHA DENONA tan palette. This is her latest face palette. So if you guys want to know everything about this palette, whether or not it's worth it, then just keep on watching. Alright, so the tan palette retails for $55. It's available online at Sephora and at Beautylish. I got mine online at Sephora, and I believe it's also going to be in stores at Sephora, but I'm not seeing like a date online of when it is going to be in stores. And when I purchased this palette, I wasn't really sure what the size was going to be, but I am pretty impressed with the size. I believe it's the same size as the Bloom palette. If you guys want a little reference, here is my iPhone for reference. It's a decent size face palette. And then inside we have a full-size mirror and 4 shades. There's 1 cream shade and then 3 powder shades. And then over the cream powder and also one of the highlighting powders, there is a little cover. That way you don't get powder in the cream highlighter, which I absolutely love about this palette. I believe she also has this for her full size 6-pan palettes as well. But I was definitely really glad that it has this little cover over the cream powder. Every other face palette that I have that has cream in it, like my Kevyn Aucoin contour kit, the cream is completely destroyed because it's covered in powder, or like my Tarte palette. So I was really happy that they had this in the kit. So it is a good size. Really love the packaging. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch everything, and then I'm gonna apply everything on my face. So I'm just gonna start off with the shades on top, and we'll start off with a cream. This is the Glow Cream Base. It is more of like a face gloss, it feels like. It's a little bit more of a natural finish, and this shade especially is going to be more suited for medium tan or deep complexions. I think it's definitely going to be too dark for fairer light complexions. Even on me, it's a little bit dark, but once I blend it out, it works totally fine. But it is a little bit of a deeper cream shade, and it's definitely more of a gloss or a dewy finish. It's not like the intensity of like the Physicians Formula butter highlighters or the ColourPop cream highlighters are super like shimmery and pigmented. This is more of a dewy, glossy finish. And then next to that, we have the Super Glow. This is my favorite thing in this palette. It's gorgeous, it's gold, it's super buttery, super creamy. It feels almost like a cream because it's so buttery, but it's definitely a powder. And this is kind of like a deeper gold shade. And then next we have the Blush and Bronze Powder. This is a very creamy, very pigmented powder. This, I was very confused whether this was going to be a blush or a bronzer, but this, like, I've only worn this as a bronzer, but we're going to actually test it out as a blush today. But it's a very pigmented bronzer shade, and it is a bit deeper as well. So when I do apply it as a blush, I'm going to test it out with a really light hand. And then lastly, we have the Glow Impact Powder, which is another highlighter in here. Now these two highlighters are very different. This one's like super buttery, very cream formula, and then this one is a bit drier for sure. It's still pigmented, but it's more of like a dry formula and more of a champagne shade. It's the lightest shade in this palette. So here are all 4 shades in the palette. They're definitely very different from each other. They're all completely different textures. And I actually really like all 4 shades. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply everything to my face. And I am actually already wearing this palette as my eyeshadow. I'm only wearing this palette as my eyeshadow today. I'm wearing the bronzer shade as my crease shade, and then this shade as my lid color, inner corner, and brow bone. Just these 2 shades is what's on my eyes today. Super pigmented, very easy to blend and apply. I just put this one on with a wet brush since it is a little bit of a drier formula. But with a wet brush, it's like super pigmented, and I barely wet my brush too. I didn't have to like do too much. So I'm just gonna go in with the bronzer shade. Super creamy formula, very pigmented. Like you can just see the little bit that I applied. I need to go in with an even lighter hand because it is like super pigmented. And this bronzer is definitely warm. It has a slight reddish hint to it, but not anything too harsh. And I normally don't go for matte bronzers, hardly ever, but this is such a creamy formula that it kind of blends like a cream bronzer. So it looks a little bit more natural than a lot of matte bronzers that I have. And then I'm also gonna apply a tiny bit as blush, just like a bronzy blush. Well, basically bronzer as blush, but I definitely think this is the first time I'm applying it as blush, so we'll see, but applying it as bronzer for a couple days, definitely like it. And I would definitely call this a bronzer and not a blush, unless you have like a really deep or tan complexion. But on me, it works as a bronzer. The next step, I'm gonna go in with a cream, and I actually always apply creams over powders. Like I always do cream highlight on top of my blush and everything. I just try to like pat it out like this and not move the product around. And you can see it is like a little bit of a deeper cream highlight color. And I'm basically applying this kind of as a base for the other highlight shades that I'll apply on top. The next, I'm gonna add in the Glow Impact Powder. I'm gonna apply this just to the center of my face, because this is a lighter shade, Cupid's Bow. This is definitely a shade that would work. I ran out of places to put it. This is definitely a shade that would work on all skin tones. I feel like it's very universally flattering. And then I'm gonna finish up with this Super Glow highlight. I'm gonna use my Morphe M501. Love this highlighter so far. Super Glow is more of like a peachy gold highlight. I'm gonna kind of build this up and kind of buff it into my blush as well. Almost like a blush topper and highlight in one. I really like a little bit of a deeper highlight when I'm doing like bronzy looks. It's what I tend to go for in the summer, but this is a gorgeous, gorgeous shade, gorgeous formula. All right, so we are highlighted and all done. I'm actually gonna apply a little bit of a cream base to the center of my lip, just like I did with the Dominique Cosmetics. Oh, I like that. With the Dominique Cosmetics highlighter palette. Very subtle, but I just want to add a little extra highlight because this was such a quick video. But that is everything in the tan palette. I definitely think it's a really great palette, really great value. I don't think it's overpriced at all for $55 because it is a good size. It's really great quality. It's definitely a luxury brand. So I think this is a really great way to get into Natasha Denona face products like I am right now, because I just have her eyeshadow products that I've tried out. This is the first face product and I really like it. So with that being said, I do think that this palette is definitely more so for medium, tan, and deep complexions. I think if you have a fair or light complexion, some of the shades would look too deep as highlighters. It would be one of those things that you would have to use some of the shades as eyeshadows. Otherwise, it would be a little bit too dark, especially the two kind of creamier highlights, the Super Glow and the cream base would probably be too dark for a lighter skin tone. Even the cream base I think would be too dark, so definitely keep that in mind. Actually, even the bronzer shade, it's like more so my summer bronzer shade on me, so I think if you have a light complexion, it would be very deep on your skin tone because it's such a creamy and pigmented bronzer. You would have to go in with such a light hand to make it blend out and look very flawless on your skin. That's definitely something to keep in mind. It does have some more deeper shades in this palette. Overall, the quality is awesome. I do wish, like I said, that the Glow Impact Powder was creamier for sure, because that's such a gorgeous shade, and I just wish it was like that same buttery shade as the Super Glow powder up here. But overall, it's still a good formula. The bronzer is super pigmented. The cream base is super pretty as well. I love shades like this. I love cream highlighters as well. So I was really excited about this palette because I looked at it and I thought I would like all the shades, and I do like all the shades. So really impressed with the formula, impressed with the palette. I think that the price point is fair, especially for a luxury brand, and how much product you're getting with the packaging and everything too. So overall, happy with the palette. Let me know if you guys purchased it. Let me know if you've tried any of the other Natasha Denona face palettes, because I've been curious about them in the past, but nothing has caught my attention like this palette, because when it comes to especially something that's $55 and not something like that's $30 or $40, I want to make sure I'm going to use the whole palette and not just like 2 shades and then I have to get creative with the rest of it. So I'm definitely glad that I ended up liking all the shades, but that is going to be everything for this video. Let me know if you guys purchased this palette. Let me know if you've tried other Natasha Denona face palettes. Let me know what your thoughts are about Natasha Denona in general. If you think it's like too pricey, too overhyped, let me know in the comments below. And if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.